guys, welcome to another metal riff lesson, and this is a cool riff, the one you just heard. Man, I love these types of riffs. I know you guys hear me say that a lot because I love a lot of types of riffs, but there are some certain dynamics in this style of riffage here that I want to share with you as we go through this. There are some certain things that you're going to be doing in this lesson that will just bring another dimension to your metal rhythm playing. Let's get right to it. So by the way, my Patreon supporters, you guys have backing tracks and tabs, so be sure you download those. Of course, hang around for our guitar chat at the end of the lesson. We got something really cool that I want to share with you. So let's play it out in the open here. No backing tracks here, just raw guitar. Alright, pretty cool. Let's learn it. So starting out, we are in standard tuning, as most of you guys already know that. We're playing in the key of E minor here, so everything we're playing here really fits into that key. We're starting with an E power chord. Now, when I say power chord, we're going to be playing, and this is one of those cool things about this lesson, about this riff that I really want you to take away. We're not just playing the power chords, which that would be cool, especially if you had a second guitar playing that while another guitar is playing this. Right? One's playing that, the other's playing this. Anyway, just a side note, okay? So we're not just playing power chords for this riff here, though. We're playing what I like to call a variation of power chords. Now, I know in the terms of music theory, there's probably some fancy verbiage for that. I like to keep things simple, you guys know that. So the variation of the power chord is really we're just moving that second note of the power chord around. So listen to this first part. It's almost like three power chords in one, but we're basing it on the E power chord, okay? So the A and D strings, frets, what are we on, 7 and 9, right? That's your power chord. We're gonna start 7, 10. See how we walked down? Again, all we did was we moved that second note of the power chord. And this is a strategy that I want you really to think about when you're writing your riffs, okay? So we just went 7, 10, 7, 9, 7, 7. Let's do that one more time. Now for the picking strategy that goes with that, okay, we're going to do some alternate picking, and I'm kind of palm muting throughout this riff here as well. We're going to do some alternate picking with some downstrokes. So I'll play it at normal speed, then I'll slow it down so you can see exactly what I'm doing here. At any point in time, if you need to go back and just listen to that a few more times, do that. Now, what I want you to do, if you get hung up on like, well, I can't tell if you picked once or twice or did a downstroke or alternate pick, what I will tell you is go with what you're feeling, okay? I'm not so concerned that you learn everything that I'm playing note for note. What I want you to grasp is the concept of what we're doing here. That's the important part, because really what I want you to do is take the techniques, the movement, the picking strategies, right? Alternate picking mixed in with some downstrokes there, the variation of power chords, and I want you to run with it, okay? So that's what we're doing for the E power chord there. Then we move up to the D, okay? Now this is pretty simple, and we're not even playing an actual D power chord, okay? We're gonna be on frets 5 and 4, and that second note kind of go back and forth between the 4th and 5th fret, okay, like this. trying to play it kind of slow, as slow as I possibly can. Is sometimes it's more difficult to play stuff slow when it's written at a certain speed. It's not that it's like lightning fast, but you know what I'm talking about. All right, so that's the D, pretty simple. Then we're gonna do the same thing on the C, okay? Not the same like finger positioning here, but as you can see, the strategy for the picking is the same, right? Okay, for the C, again, A and D strings, we're on the 3rd fret there. That's our root note of that power chord for C. And we're going to be going back and forth. Remember, we're changing that 2nd note around a bit from the 3rd and the 4th. I'm sorry, the 4th and 5th fret here, okay? Now comes the really killer part, and this is a really cool single note alternate picking strategy. So let me start from the beginning of the riff to get to that point, and then we'll break that down. Okay, pretty simple once you get that down. And again, you know, learn what I'm sharing with you here, but play around with that. You might come up with something cooler, something that fits your own personal style better than what I'm doing here. Super important, guys. That's very important, okay? When you're trying to learn other people's songs, sometimes you get frustrated. And I'm not against you learning songs note for note. That's great if that's what you want to do, especially if you're in a cover band and you're expected to play it that way. But you always have to remember, somebody else wrote that piece of music. You didn't write that. You may write a piece of music that's kind of simple for you because it makes sense, right? But it might be complex for someone else. So focus on your own style and sound even throughout these lessons here, guys. I'm really big on that, okay? So what I'm doing here, we're on the D string. I just messed up. All right, so I like to share my screw ups with you guys too, and I wrote this. I just wrote this like like a video ago. We'll talk more about that in the guitar chat. Anyway, hey, I'm imperfect, guys. We're on the 7th fret here, going 7, 5. Okay, that alternate picking. Now we're going to do this really cool hammer on pull off, and we're going to pull all the way off to the open string there. So we're going to go 4, 5, 4, pull off to open. Then we're going to go 2, 4, 2, pull off to open. I love pulling off to the open note because it just gives you a different texture. All right, now for the second and final part of this riff, most everything stays the same, okay, except for the very last part. We're going to do something a little different. So pretty cool. So where it starts to become different is actually when we get to that C power chord, okay? We kind of play it the same way, but we don't use the same picking strategy. We just do this right here. Real simple, okay? Frets 3, 4, okay, then 3, 5. What's cool is I've already got my 3rd finger there in the position that I'm going to start this little riff. And I love to use strategies like this. You know, part of my goal as a guitar player, especially if I'm writing my own music, and especially if it's stuff I'm going to perform on stage, is I want to make things as simple as possible. I don't really care so much about making some super complex rhythm or riff, and some of them are, and they will be in their own right. But I'm not really interested in going out of my way to make something super complicated. I want the riff to sound cool. I want everything to fit. I want the song to be just kind of glued together, right? So little strategies like this. My finger's already there in that position, that 3rd finger, because what we're going to do is we are going to bend, and I'm on the D string, 4th fret. We're going to bend that, okay, and then we're going to follow through with this little riff here. So real simple there. I don't even think I need to call out the frets. Let's go through that one more time. Just kind of watch my fingers here. Here's normal speed, and then I'll slow it down. It is time for our guitar chat, guys, but real quick, if you do not have my free metal riffs and licks practice guide, grab it. There's a link in the description of this video. If you already have that, and I know many of you do because it has literally helped thousands of other metal guitar players just like yourself. If you already have that though, check out my online courses. I've got Metal Riff Master out there. That is going to help you build your metal riff and rhythm skills. I also have a beginner's course called Metal Guitar Apprentice if you're just starting out or if you need to revisit the basics. So the links for all this good stuff, they're in the description of this video. And of course, guys, that helps support my channel and I do appreciate you. Now, you may have heard a new tone in today's lesson. I'm going to talk about that in a second, but first, I just want to go over the strategies that we use. I like calling these strategies for our rhythms because you're building something here, okay? And the strategies that we use were what? Well, we didn't play just power chords. We played a variation of power chords. I want you to expand on that and simply put, just playing around with that second note of the power chord and maybe just switching the fingers around a little bit. See what you can come up with going from one power chord to another, right? Playing just some different things, just beefing up that chord a bit with those new positions, and then doing that across other power chords and just combining them. You can come up with some cool strategies. Another thing that we did is we mixed our picking techniques up quite a bit from downstrokes to alternate picking. So we had some parts where we're playing just some cool downstrokes, but then right away going into some alternate picking. And we did some cool stuff with the single note riffs too. So we have a lot of things going on with this riff here. And again, guys, you can always go back and pause the video and go back and watch certain parts of it and learn those parts. But like I said earlier, I encourage you to quickly start expanding on those. What's inside of you as you go through this lesson? What's naturally wanting to come out? It might not be the next note that I play. It might be something else. Hey, if that something else comes up that comes in your mind, I want you to go with that because this is when you start creating and you are a creator, okay? You're a musician. You've got it in you to create. So I want to encourage you to do that. It's all about creating your own style and sound and continuing to develop that. Now, tones. So you might have caught my previous video, the last video right before this one, where I introduced the Blackstar Amped Free. This is a cool little device that I just got from Blackstar, and I just want to give them a shout out real quick. Thank you guys so much for sponsoring me. So I've got a series of Blackstar specific videos that I'm creating, and if you didn't watch that video, go check that out. I give you a complete overview of the unit. I also share some other tones. We even share some clean tones in that video as well, but a lot of metal tones, and it's just a pretty cool unit. Like I said in that video, I was somewhere in between, like I like it and I love it. So kind of somewhere in between that. I wasn't like fully in love with the unit, but the more I play through this thing and just the different capabilities that it has, and the simplicity on top of all that, the more I'm really starting to like this, guys. So, you know, I'm always a little apprehensive when I go for any kind of sponsorship. I'm like, I hope I like this product. The caveat to this though is I have played through several Blackstar amps, and this is why I went after this particular unit. I'm like, okay, well, if this sounds anything like the Blackstar amps that I've played through, and you guys have seen those videos where I've been at the Tampa Guitar Store, Replay Guitar Exchange in Tampa, I've played through, I don't know, probably 2 or 3 different Blackstar amps on camera, and I've played through several others at the store, and I've always just liked their tone, and I'm a big fan of Gus G. He's endorsed by Blackstar. I think he has his own signature amp. Hey, I'd love to get my hands on that amplifier. But I've always been a big fan of his tone in his solo albums and in Firewind as well. So I'm like, hey, you know, I'm going to reach out to these guys. Let's see if we can work together, and voila. So if you didn't catch that video, definitely go check that out next. Guys, leave me any questions in the comments, and I hope this lesson helped you. I hope that it helps you expand. Don't forget to check out the links in the description of this YouTube video here. Guys, give this a like. Make sure you're subscribed. I'll see you on the next video. As always, keep it metal and keep playing music.